So what gives? Why is this happening? In Hamilton? Really? Hey guys, what's up? It's your man Pete. And for those of you who know my channel, know that I mostly talk about Toronto and the GTA's real estate market. But this story I just cannot ignore. You know, it completely warrants a video coming from us talking about a city that's completely out of our zone and boundaries. Simply because I want to talk about their amazing growth story over the last couple of years and how homes being so unaffordable here in the Toronto and the Greater Toronto area that people are forced to start filling up other pockets in the province. And Toronto's impact and influence financially doesn't stop at Hamilton either. Like, it goes beyond that all the way to the far reaches of this country. So we'll get into a little bit of how the Hamilton real estate market has responded over the past year and past few years before that, just because it's an interesting story to talk about. So we'll dig into that right after this. Okay, and we're back. So I think maybe a lot of you may have missed the news because everyone's obviously very much concentrating on Toronto and the Greater Toronto area. But yeah, Hamilton is pretty far away. It's easily 45 minutes to an hour driving. I'm not sure if you want to make that commute every single day, but it's great because you have access to the lake, right? And to be honest, within an hour of Toronto is really not that bad anymore. And then of course they also have GO train access. So there's a very valid reason for why Hamilton has absolutely blown up over the last little while. And of course the pandemic has forced people to want to get more space because they don't want to be living in a cocoon or a cage for an extended period of time, because it's the place where you sleep, eat, exercise, and even work in now. But Hamilton went up a ridiculous 30% in the month of October, and then like another 28% for the month of November, which are numbers that actually even exceed Toronto's growth pattern. We were up about 21 to 22%. So Hamilton's price growth has actually outpaced ours in the last several months. So what gives? Why is this happening in Hamilton? Really? Well, I've always said it all along that Toronto is a force in this country, right? Especially financially. So as people continue to get priced out, people have to start moving further and further away outside of the core of the city. This is probably not the first time this has happened here in Toronto or any major city, but it's just that it's the most recent news, so that's why we talk about it. And we're seeing massive gains going all across the country, not just here in Ontario or 1 or 2 hours striking distance of Toronto. So when prices run up, they get bid up, then people have to start looking at other options. They have to start pouring into other cities and towns that are close by. And especially now that we have the hybrid working model and people don't have to be in the office every single day, it kind of makes sense, because the key here is that you're going to be spending a lot of time in your house, and so it's very important to make sure that you have enough space for not just you and your work, but for your family as well too. It's interesting, they've actually developed a name for it. The phenomenon is called drive until you qualify, and I really like that term. Perfectly encapsulates exactly what's happening in the Toronto real estate market, where people just have to keep getting further and further and further away from the city. I'm hearing people that are actually moving all the way to London, Ontario, which is a 2-hour drive with no traffic. I know that drive because I went to Western. Back then it was called the University of Western Ontario, which is how I like to refer it. Now it's called Western U. I don't know, it kind of loses a little something there. Shout out to London, shout out to Western, and shout out to the Mustangs for winning the Vanier Cup this year. I digress, because just outside of the city, we've got little towns and cities like Hamilton, we've got Burlington, we've got Brantford, which is absolutely blowing up now, home of the great one, for those of you who are too young to even know who Wayne Gretzky is. And while Hamilton only did a fraction of the sales that Toronto did, what was crazy and absolutely impressive was the price appreciation that they got from one year to the next. So in October and November of 2021, they were basically up high 20s, 30%, which is absolutely ludicrous. And it's really probably just people here in Toronto just, frustrated with the process, just feeling like it's hopeless. They're not able to get into anything in their budget range. And then they go out to Hamilton and drop a bucket load of cash because they can afford it, as their dollars go a lot further out there. Most people these days, especially those with families, are looking for something that has a backyard, that has a basement, that has a garage, garage. And of course, you don't want to be paying maintenance fees anymore, especially when you've got kids. So while the inconveniences and the challenges that the virus has caused, and I think everybody has been impacted here, not just, I've been impacted as well too, but it's just truly fascinating for us to see it really happening finally, because everybody has been calling it for years, and finally it's happening right in front of our eyes. And I know it's not really great news for young home buyers, but trust me, it's still affordable. There's still a lot of things that you can buy, okay? So let's not give up hope here, guys. Let's not fall into despair and depression, okay? But yeah, this is a continuing story to monitor as obviously Toronto becomes more and more expensive, pricing people out, becoming a lot more unaffordable. And it's certainly not a new thing, as investors have been snatching up properties in Hamilton for a few years now. And it certainly appears that they're heading towards $1 million average in Hamilton probably a lot sooner than we think. And of course, a lot of the reasons is that they actually build newer houses out there. There's a lot more newer inventory. So typically people will overpay, pay more for those properties. And so that's one reason that's driving the market out there. And then of course, we're talking a lot about freehold and detached properties. Those are the holy grail of properties, right? So theoretically speaking, those properties, they're at the top of the heap. And so they don't really have a limit on how high the price can go. But townhouses are definitely a very affordable option for people who are willing to live in Hamilton. It's something I would consider if your budget's like $650,000, $700,000. Where in downtown Toronto, you're maybe only getting a 1-bedroom condo with no parking. So the value proposition is incredibly high for places like Hamilton. So especially if there's no immediate plans for people to get back to work, it seems like a logical and very affordable option for people. It's funny how I'm saying 800,000 is affordable, because obviously we see numbers a lot higher here in Toronto. And frankly speaking, I think from a virus perspective, we're probably still only in the 6th or the 7th inning of this ball game. And so I think people are definitely thinking longer term. They're definitely committing to things staying this way for at least a couple of years. But let me know in the bottom what you think about the boom happening in Hamilton and how it's affecting you, and whether you're thinking about moving out there yourself. We don't service out there. It's a bit too far for us, but it's just nice to talk about it, because this is your typical ice cube tray spillover effect that's happening all across Ontario and even Canada, the country. And also, we'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas on how we can improve housing. How can we build more? Like, we know that the governments need to, come together and work together to come up with more solutions for people. But I'm not going to hold my breath, because I just don't see it happening anytime soon as the market continues its wild, epic, and once in a generation run up. And also let me know if you'd like me to do more videos about not just Toronto real estate, but maybe real estate all across Canada perhaps. Make sure you click the subscribe button, give us a like. And again, as always, if you're looking for real personal service and advice in helping you to buy or sell or even manage your properties, then give us a shout here at Selling Toronto. We'd be happy to help out. Contact is in the link description below. If I don't see you before the holidays, happy holidays to you all. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. We love you all, Toronto. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Bye for now.